Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Hey.
Shoot. Okay, sorry guys. So hey, we're here, thankfully. Okay, P. Do you want me to let them know or you want to let them know?
No, you haven't.
No. Okay. So we're so sorry about the last couple weeks. One, we had a technical issue. We're trying to do this video podcast and we are still very new and learning. And we'll give you a little snippet of our last episode we recorded.
It never aired.
It did not air. We did not air it because it was video only. And as much as we think you guys may want to look at us, just kidding, we assumed you didn't want like approximately an hour of P and I talking with no audio.
Yeah.
So we will give you guys a little snippet of that, but that is where we're at on that episode. I am bummed that it didn't air because it talked a lot about what had been going on. P had a very busy, crazy life at that point. I mean, not that it slowed down or anything, but in that episode we discussed your brother and future sister-in-law's wedding that ended up being canceled because of COVID. So the bride caught COVID.
Uh-huh.
And then everyone aside from the venue, so hair, catering, all of those vendors were okay with it. She had been vaccinated, tested negative, doctor released her everything.
Well, she didn't test negative.
She was within the time frame, right?
She was going to be cleared for after 5 days. She could be out in public with a mask on. Basically.
And she said she'd wear a mask. She was okay with that. She would wear a mask. She was fine. But the venue said no. Nope. Sorry, not going to do it. Which is horrible. I was telling P, I never think about how someone who's maybe sick or having, some type of condition happening when they're getting married, right? You just assume there's a wedding, everybody's happy, everything's going great, right? Maybe there are these little hiccups here and there, of course, but you don't ever think about, she would have gone through with the wedding had the venue said okay, but she was not feeling great. She wasn't feeling good. So I've never really thought about that. When a bride gets sick or a groom.
I actually think that a lot of brides probably do get sick before their wedding.
Yeah, there's so much stress. Your immune system has to be shot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's probably more brides that are sick than we even realize.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which I've never thought about. And the only reason I do think about it is because of COVID. Isn't that weird?
I know. And well, here's what's really crazy is I think back and I think, here we thought we are 2 full years.
Yes. Beyond 2 years.
COVID.
Yes.
And yet it's still an issue.
Yes.
And I know many, many, many weddings were canceled with COVID.
Right.
Many, many were not canceled, but postponed.
Yeah.
Kind of things happen. But here we are 2 years, and that's not even enough time. So,
right. Which, what the heck?
Because this is what I tell everyone. I'm like, hey, COVID isn't going anywhere.
Right. And that's what they've said.
It isn't going anywhere.
Right? Like, it's no longer an epidemic, or it's no longer a pandemic, it's an epidemic.
And I'm sorry.
Right?
That's what happens when you fuck with science in the lab and you fuck with humans. I'm sorry. Like, that's,
you shouldn't be doing that.
You know what I mean? Like, you
shouldn't.
You kind of, I mean, really, they brought this on the entire world.
They
but
did.
Now we have to deal with it. Now we're living with it.
Right.
And now it's become a sickness, illness, whatever you want to say.
It is just a thing now.
It is
right.
Thing.
So,
and it's not to say it's not still deadly to some, just like other
but,
things.
But how deadly is it? That's the thing. like, remember they used to do all the counts, like, so many people have died from it, right? Which I am not saying. I know there are some people who are like, COVID isn't real. COVID is real. Like, I've had it a couple times. I've been sick. Different situations on both. Like, I felt different on both. You've had it multiple times, right? So we've had multiple strands. And they do feel different, but as they've mentioned, as we go on, the strands are more cold symptoms and that type of thing. I mean, the last time I had it, I was way more tired than I was the first time, but I didn't have breathing issues. The first time I had to use my inhaler a lot. I was very concerned about respiratory, and maybe it was just me being overly concerned because of what other people's experiences were with it, I mean, you were hit hard the first time, respiratory wise, which is crazy to me because obviously you're way healthier than I am.
Well, it goes back to when everyone would say, like, oh, are they in, like, when someone first got COVID and they were, like, really bad or in the hospital or something, and they would be like,
are they obese?
Are they obese? Do they have underlying medical conditions and everything?
This and that.
And for the most part, a lot of the answers were yes.
Right.
There were some that were not.
Like you.
And I seriously was like, it has,
there really is no rhyme or reason.
There's no rules to it.
Exactly.
Right?
There's not. Like, someone like you could be in a situation where it's scary, right? Like, you can't breathe. You can't stand up without having a coughing fit, and you can't move without there being an issue, right? And someone like me who's much less healthy, heavier, probably like on the road to more health issues, right? I mean, speaking as far as family history goes, like, I am. And it was just like, use my inhaler more. I was achy, maybe a little tired here and there, but just like maybe a little catnap, right? But I felt like at that point it hit you harder. The second time you had it, I felt like it was a breeze.
Yes.
Right? Like, it was like nothing almost when you had it.
Yeah.
And the second time I had it, it was like I was knocked on my butt, sleeping for like 3 days. It wasn't any respiratory issues or anything like that, but I was exhausted. Yeah. And so I do think it is a very real thing. Obviously. I mean, it's something that's been proven, right? I mean, it's something you can be tested for, whether or not the tests are accurate. There's all of that, right?
Right.
Everything. But it is something that's there. And people have passed from it. And as we go on, less people are passing from it. It is a less serious illness. And I think that's what's so frustrating for me. As exhausted as I was, I always say it wasn't as bad as the first time. The first time I wasn't as exhausted, but I never had to use my inhaler the second time. I was tired. I was very, very tired. And I had a little bit of aches maybe, but that was it. It's way scarier to not be able to take a complete breath than it is to be tired. Right? So it's like, yeah, the first time was worse for me. And it wasn't horrible, but
I don't know. I feel like you were pretty bad.
The second time?
Yeah.
But I think it's just because I was so exhausted. It wasn't anything like
I mean, you were at work all week, basically.
Oh yeah. I was out of work all week. I kind of disappeared, didn't talk to our friends or anything because I literally, aside from getting up and going to the restroom, getting something to drink, that kind of thing, and I didn't eat at all. I really did sleep for almost 3 days. It kind of was a little. Do you ever wonder, like, if I get in this car accident, like not a horrible car accident, but like a little car accident, and then I maybe end up in the hospital and they're like taking care of me for a couple days, and nothing serious, but maybe people take care of me and I don't have to take care of my family. Do you ever think of those things?
I think I have that before.
Yes, I do hear other people say it, which makes me feel less crazy.
I feel like
you have too many things to do where you can't think about that.
Yeah. And then I feel like then I get stressed because I'm like, if I don't have control over a situation and I physically can't do something that I really need to get done, I don't know that I'll be able to do that. Mm-mm. But being like, honestly, for 3 days sounds kind of amazing.
And it was very nice. It did, which, when it happened, I had been deprived from sleep. I didn't get a lot of sleep the probably 3 days before. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. Well, listen,
when your immune system is down and you're stressed or you're tired or you're overwhelmed and you're overexhausted and everything, bottom line is you're more likely to get sick.
Absolutely.
And whatever it is. And there's actually a lot of different things going around right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's like COVID, there's the stomach bug,
there's like influenza A, there's a cold, there really are a lot of different things. We have a girlfriend, poor thing. I feel like her family's been hit with every dang thing in the book. Yeah. And I'm so thankful.
2 girlfriends that are like that.
Yeah.
Their families were sick for like weeks.
We do have a couple girlfriends actually.
And I'm like, and these are 2 girlfriends that aren't friends with each other, so it's not like
they're not catching each other sick. No, but they're catching different bugs.
And I get it because we went through our own little cycle of things, but it's like, this freaking sucks.
It does. I feel so bad for them. And, it's funny because I think like, oh, I'm so thankful that I have older kids, right? Like you have both. So, like T pretty much for the most part, she stays pretty well, right? Like she's dealt with all that stuff before, so she's now okay. But then the little ones catch stuff because it's always when you're little, your immune system's trying to figure itself out, trying to build immunities and all of that good stuff. So you're getting sick all the time. Like I used to say, when we started going to church, I said every Tuesday, Hayden would be sick because Sunday he was in service with all these other kids. And by Tuesday he was sick. It felt like every dang week that it was happening. But it's like when you have these little kids and their immune systems aren't strong enough, they really are catching all kinds of different things, you know? And it's the same with our girlfriends. Yeah. Their kids are catching a cold. They're catching the flu. They're catching this stomach bug. They're catching that stomach bug. Yeah. They really are.
And then they pass it to their siblings.
And it runs through the family. And you know what sucks? Okay. So Jason, I'm going to give him a lot of praise right here. Whenever the boys were sick, he always did really good. He would always clean up their puke, right? He's always cleaning up their beds, the floors, the bathroom, whatever it is, he's cleaning it up. And I would just comfort the boys. Comfort. He never got sick. He's in their throw up all the time. Never got sick. Me? Sick. Every dang time. Because they're all in my face and I'm loving on them and being all mommy-ish.
And the bugs love you.
It's some BS. I'm like, he's over here playing in their throw up. They don't. And it's I didn't eat enough dirt or something. I don't know what happened. It's like Tristan and I had talked and I told her, hey, your generation is a bunch of pussies. You guys are pussies. And she was like, oh my gosh, you guys are blah, blah, whatever. But it's like, we really are the generation of drink your water out of a dang hose from the faucet, play in the dirt, no hand sanitizer, none of this. Like, you're just going, right? Like, you just do your thing. You pick it up.
You pick it up and eat it.
Dust it off maybe if you want to. Yeah. Little blow on it. You're done, right?
Mm-hmm. Pray over it real quick. Yes, all better.
It's good. It is good. But it's like, why am I catching all these dang bugs? Jason never catches them. And he's all in their throw up, right? Which should be full of the little germs.
Yeah.
No, he's fine. But because I'm over here loving and snuggling on our kids, I get sick. That's some BS. Right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably the Jason in that.
Yeah, I feel like, well, we all know that I feel like I'm more of the husband.
Well,
aside from like snuggling and all that.
Tony does usually when the girls get sick.
Oh, well, he can't handle that kind of
Well,
stuff.
no, he cannot handle the throw up at all.
No.
That's all me. But if the girls get sick, he pretty much, it'll come to him.
Yeah.
It'll get passed to him. With me, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it doesn't.
Jason rarely, I mean, he's gotten COVID both times I've gotten COVID, so apparently he is not immune to whatever illnesses I get.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be quite honest. He was listening to some TikTok or something, and it was like, studies show Japanese men have sex 2 to 3 times a year. And the guy's like, I'm just shocked. I didn't know I was Japanese. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. I mean, not real, but I mean,
yeah.
I'm not the best wife. Let's be honest, you know? I'm more of a husband. Like, I give less attention, but I'm not horny like a man. It's sad. Poor Jason. I love his little
that's fine.
I know, but oh man, I feel bad for him. But I'm like thinking, but he gets all my dang illnesses.
But it's funny. I mean, bugs are even funny. It's like when Tony got COVID, I laid next to him every
and you
night,
didn't get.
And I never got it.
And let's be honest, you had sex with him, and you didn't get COVID.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I had COVID. Jason gets sent home. He's fine, and then all of a sudden he gets COVID because he's home with me.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm COVID-y.
Yeah.
I'm not trying. We were not having sex. That was not going on.
Well, to be fair, he had COVID, but he wasn't like sick.
We do
COVID.
we do really think he is the onset of COVID. Really. Right? Like he's a super spreader.
Tony?
Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he was sick.
He is the super
didn't
shredder.
test positive, but he was the first
it's
one
like his
sick.
body hides
It's like a delayed
It's a
situation
delayed,
with him.
yes.
Right?
So if his body like hoards it and then like gives it to everyone. And
yes.
then
it shows up in
all
him.
of a sudden,
He has
after
it.
everyone
Right?
is like, oh my God, I'm so sick. Why am I so sick? And it's like, oh no, I'm sick too. And I'm like,
Jason's like 3 days later, oh yeah, Ashley has COVID. Oh, 3 days later, now I have COVID. But it was really, what the heck? Yeah. I know. That situation was like, I
know.
I don't really know what happened with you. All of a sudden, you have like stomach issues, and then after the party, everyone else is getting sick, but you were fine. I don't know.
But the thing about it is that I just can't believe that at this point, here we are.
That it's stopping weddings.
It's still stopping things from happening. And like we were talking about this the other day at work, it's like, how do you even plan for anything?
Right.
How do you plan for anything?
Right. And in our episode that didn't air because for some reason we didn't have any audio, but we had mentioned, thankfully her vendor did reimburse her.
Yeah.
The only thing they lost was floral, which does still suck because that is a big expense.
Yeah.
It's not like, we printed 2 signs. Floral is a good chunk of a wedding. So that does suck. But the venue, thankfully, they did reimburse them completely. But when in the last episode I had mentioned, when we were planning our girlfriend's baby shower, and she lives down south, and the venue at that point, this was, did we do September or October?
November.
Okay, a couple months later. November. So in November, what year was that?
Last year.
21 then? Mm-hmm. So we're already over a year into COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Things have started opening up. we want to do the shower. We're looking for a venue. And the venue, a part of their contract was that we would not get our deposit back if they had to shut down per county guidelines.
Yeah.
And the deposit was a good chunk of money.
It was.
And they told us we could have a shower at a later date.
Yeah.
So when
we can have a
she
shower
has her baby and he's one,
yeah,
perfect. And she's down south near LA, which is a little more, not to be political, it is a little more democratic and a little.
They've been very strict on their
a little more strict.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but they were not willing to refund us our deposit.
No,
so
it's like we can't do that.
Yeah,
because if something were to happen,
we still are going to have a shower.
And
yeah,
yes,
we're going to have the shower. She has that baby in her, and we're getting it done.
But okay, so I was freaked out, and I was trying to keep all of us healthy until the wedding. Not thinking
right, because I was sick and I was supposed to watch your girls.
Yeah,
which I felt. I'm so sorry. I felt horrible about. I was still willing to watch them because it was like Jason felt fine at that point, so it was like he could watch them. It's okay as long as you're okay with the germs, which in most situations you guys are fine with. You know, it's like germs are germs. They're gonna get them, whatever. But this is the week before the wedding. Like, we can't risk this.
Yeah. In all honesty, it's like I can't afford to get COVID because then we're out for days.
Right.
You know?
And you have a wedding that you're supposed to attend.
Yeah, I was like,
so if the girls are sick, that's one thing because they could be with me during that weekend, right? Like, we'll stay with them. They're going to be sick. It's fine. But if you get sick and you're helping her get the wedding done.
Well, and even if my kids are sick, how am I going to go away for a weekend with sick kids?
And that is hard because I'm like, well, we'll take care of them. But as a mom, you don't want to leave your kid when they're sick. You know, even though someone else would take care of them, it's like, no, like you can't. That's just your heart. Just it can't. Yeah. So that sucks.
But I feel like it's everything, and now as we're planning things, it's like I find myself second guessing things all the time now, just from that going. I just hope no one gets sick.
Like the risk, is the risk worth it? Kind of thing, you know, like. I mean, so your sister-in-law and your brother, you tried super hard. You're so sweet. You tried super hard to be able to get them married that weekend, which she wasn't feeling great and he ended up not feeling good. So it ended up being, obviously, it wasn't the time for, you know, given their health, it just wasn't great. But I love that even though she felt like shit, she was still like looking to book venues and like, I'm going to make this wedding happen at some point. So she did. They did end up getting their venue, of course, which you tried so hard. Like, what if we do, like you were willing, Tony's obviously ordained and you guys were willing to go into the forest. And, I mean, your sister-in-law and brother are so sweet. And they like, that would be totally them to go and do that kind of thing, right?
I wanted them to still have their wedding. I thought they already had everything booked. I can find a new venue. I can pull a wedding together in 2 days. That's not a big deal. I can do whatever. We can roll with the punches.
Right.
No problem. We can take care of it. You already have your DJ, your photographer, your hair and makeup. Your florist. I can do everything else. You have all of your decorations. You have all of your stuff, all your favors, all your whatever.
Scooch this. Cut out some. Sorry.
I'm like,
no, you're fine. No, you can lean back. I just wanted to scooch.
I don't even know if this should be a video one. I'm exhausted and I look like shit right now. Stop. So, but I feel like it did work out because she was not, and no one wants to feel like shit on their wedding day.
And I've
But she
never
was not
thought about
feeling
that.
good. He ended up getting COVID. They're all fine. Everyone is fine.
Right.
But it's like, it ended up just spiraling all week long. And
Right.
then they were like literally trying to feel better. And she was still testing positive like days after she should have been negative. And then she needed she was graduating from college.
Oh, that's right.
She had a walk. And then it was like, if I need to test negative and everybody needs to test negative, so we can all go to my graduation.
Right.
You know, so that was.
Did everyone end up testing negative?
Yes, but it was probably like 2 days before. Like it came close.
Yeah.
So thank God everything worked out, but it's sad. They'll wait a few months and then they'll get married. It was hard. It was, I think, really emotional it was emotional for us as a family. I can't even imagine.
Right. Being the bride and the groom.
No.
Yeah, no.
We've got a wedding in November in Mexico.
Right. And then they're feeling a little guilty because their ceremony's going to go on. And,
but then it makes you worry. Like,
what if something happens before that? Right. Which I do think at this point, it should be treated as, and I don't know if we're going to get hate for this or not, but I do think it should be treated as a cold. For most people, those are the symptoms they're getting. Some people, your sister-in-law and I, we were kind of like wiped out, right? Like it kind of took us out. She was exhausted.
Yes.
And I was exhausted.
Yes.
We were both. Jason, no, he was like a little, whatever, but fine. Like pretty much like a cold. So some people are being hit a little harder, but not anything like before. And I don't know with the new strain what the death count is. It's not something I know because they're not talking a lot about it, which makes me believe it's rather low, right? Like if it's not being published, it must be low.
But the thing about it is, well, there's a few things about it. One is, I do believe it's highly contagious.
Oh, absolutely.
For
sure.
But if we get sick, we can't come back unless we test negative.
Well, you guys are over there. So this one wedding that was supposed to happen recently, you would have been fine. But your wedding in the fall, no. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Unless you pay people. I've heard of that.
Well, yeah, I'll be paying everyone.
Yeah.
Because we're all going home.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta
when it's time to go home, it's time to go home.
Yeah. But I don't think it should be treated the way it's being treated anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not doing what it used to.
Yeah.
It is spreading easily.
It is.
It is more contagious, but it is less impactful. It is less hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know how we get to that point. I really don't. Now we got fucking monkeypox.
Oh, good night.
I don't know what the fuck.
I don't even know. Jason was lying earlier, like yesterday. I don't even know what he said. He said something was closed because of monkeypox. Oh, so stupid. We were at IHOP, and Jackson's like, why don't we have any syrup? Like, he's got pancakes. Why don't I have any syrup? And Jason's like, I read a sign up there that said they're not doing that anymore because of monkeypox. I'm like, you are so stupid. Like, you are literally making this up. But Jason says that kind of stuff. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want any kind of pox. Like,
no.
Pox do not sound fun.
No.
I didn't want COVID. I didn't want any of that. But I don't want anything that's physical. Like, I get fever blisters. I get canker sores. Currently have a canker sore in the back of my throat. It sucks. Right? Like, to eat hurts because I have to swallow food. It sucks. I don't want
I don't even know anything about it. All I know
I don't either, because I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
like,
I'm not there yet.
I can't go there.
No.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out of control. So I don't know about the monkeypox. I'll look into it eventually, but
I don't know. I just feel
after
like there's
Johnny
so
died.
many things.
I don't know.
No. What is our world coming to?
I don't know. I have to distract myself from all of this ugliness. Like, there are all these horrible things happening, like bills being passed, and this and that.
But the Johnny Depp thing.
I know.
Am I watching a movie right now? Like, is it a Hollywood movie that
I think so.
I don't even know. I can't even wrap my head around it. I don't really watch it. You know me though. I know. Watch things.
I know, and I normally don't. I only know what's on TikTok, which is horrible. I know. TikTok. I know it's horrible, but it's also kind of very entertaining. And, one of our girlfriends said, like, she needed something light. She couldn't handle all of the horribleness that is happening right now. And we'll get further into that later, but she needed just some mindless, right? Which I get. Like,
I'm like, is that even mindless? Like, see, for me, like, mindless is like, I'm going to turn on
the circle. Oh.
I'm going to turn on,
see, I turn on, like,
Friends.
little reality-ish type shows that don't mean anything, but are like, I'm interested.
That I'm like,
they are, but not anything.
Like, I don't have to pay attention to, but every once in a while I can be like,
see, that's what I do, though, with my little, like, The Circle or, like, Too Hot to Handle. Like, stuff like that. So The Circle is this social media type setup. And players come in, they create their profile, they have their photos, whatever. They can be themselves. They can be someone else. So they're like catfish or whatever. And they go into the circle. They end up getting voted off. Nobody knows each other face to face. They don't ever do any type of reveals until someone is kicked off. And so it's all about, like, it's all mindless stuff, right? Like, nothing that really matters, nothing that's real life. That's the kind of stuff I watch, too, because I've already watched Schitt's Creek and stuff like that. And, Doug needs something that'll kind of get his attention a little bit. I don't know. It's just dumb stuff.
No, I understand. I think,
like, it doesn't mean anything. Right? Like, it's nothing.
Right. It's not.
So important. I can be like, I'm over here and I'm using my mixer and it's making noise and I can't hear anything, but I'm fine because it's not a big deal. It's whatever. Those are the kind of shows I watch. And I know people say, like on TikTok, you might see something where someone says like, oh, well, everyone's watching this, like the Johnny Depp hearings. The government is over here doing this. And, like, we're not paying attention. But sometimes it's hard to get yourself to the place where you're ready to pay attention. Like, even though I know this stuff is happening, sometimes it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm just too bogged down. Like, I need to watch this stupid stuff.
It's a lot. There are many times I actually need to probably dig into it again. But there are many times I walk away from anything and everything that's very political because it is a lot. It's exhausting.
It is.
So I was telling a friend of ours that we were talking about like kind of like what I do at work and everything. And I said, here's the thing. So like we actually have a social media team that helps us put all of our social out there. I still monitor our social, and I usually am the one that replies to the messages. I do. They kind of like kind of direct them, but then they have some free reign to do some things. And I told her, I said, between just when we were really like going through the transition, and I was really trying to like feed them everything and go through everything, or like when we're in the middle of a big event and I'm kind of like we're tag teaming different posts, or even the website, and I do our website. I'm like, I am so exhausted from it. I'm like, number one, I could never do this for a living. Number two, it makes me not want to get on it for any personal reasons whatsoever. Like, it's a total turn off. Yeah. And I honestly, and I know we're not talking about this today because I just can't. But I really feel like social media, and I know I'm saying this, and I know that half the people, who listen, all five of you, are like following us and stuff on social, but I feel like it is the number one problem.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. It's an issue. It's an issue for our children.
Yeah.
It's an issue for us.
Yeah.
I'm not big on social media. Every now and then, like right now, I really
every now and then you get on and then you like 700 photos. Of one person, because all of a sudden you've seen everything.
I am that stalker that I'm like, we're friends now. Let me look at your profile, and I will like everything. Right? I am that person.
Yeah,
like,
you are.
I am that old lady person that will do that. Whatever. That is me. But I will tell you that social media is depressing. Social media is all-consuming. Yeah. Social media really does mold what our kids think, and it's scary because it's all targeted at what the agenda wants our kids to think. It's insane. I just at times I know I need to focus on more important things, but I just cannot bring myself to do it because I don't have the energy. I just don't want to. Yeah. It's like I want to shut down. Yeah. I don't want my brain to have to go through it. Like I'm just done. Yeah. Right? And it's like it's scary because our kids don't get to that point.
Yeah.
Our kids could be there 24/7 and they don't get there.
Yeah.
It's never something like at lunch today, I was sitting there and my husband and my two boys were on the phone.
Oh, it's the most annoying thing. I can't take it. I will, it's like I give a look and I say something and it's like everybody better get off their phone.
Yeah. I look at my watch and I'm like, I wonder if anyone will talk to Mom today. And then one of them will say something. I'm like, oh, so nice of you to join the conversation. And it's like, I mean, that's fine if you want to talk to me about something that was on your phone, like something you saw earlier, whatever, but we need to have conversation. Like, everything can't be on our phones. Yeah. It can't, because that's really what is dividing everyone.
So we've talked about a few things on air about, like, feelings that I've had about my child and my kid and my family and all this stuff. And I will say, like, I started a rule, I guess, kind of new about, like, eating in the rooms.
Right.
Everyone has to eat out here. So we may not always eat together, sit down as a family, but you have to eat out in the kitchen or, so whether it's on the kitchen island or it's at the dining room table or whatever, you just have to eat out here. You cannot eat in your room. And it's, for the most part, it's working out. I think there was like one day, while she wasn't feeling well, we let her eat in her room and lay in bed and whatever. That's fine.
That's different.
Those are moments, But for the most part, when dinner's ready, right? Yeah. So it does create more of everyone sitting together.
Right.
And that is a thing of mine. And we do it, and I do it even when we're out having like breakfast or dinner or whatever we're having out in public. But I'm like, I make a conscious effort to not have my phone out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I look
and it
like,
sucks because sometimes you just want to do mindless stuff on
I
your phone.
do.
Right?
Yes. And or my watch is going off and I'm like, oh, what is my phone?
Right.
But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Nope, it can wait an hour. It can wait
Yeah.
30 minutes. It's probably going to take us 20 minutes to eat dinner.
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
Why?
And there's not a lot of talking because I want you to keep your mouth shut when you have food and
I want you to
don't
eat.
talk to me.
So
Right?
it's like, but everyone does. We all start talking. But I have to and even we're telling them hey.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's like, I wonder if anyone will talk to mom, because it's like, I'm the only one I don't have my phone out. And it's because I want them to talk to us.
Yeah.
Something that I learned with Hayden, when Hayden was going through everything and there was drinking and drugs and all of that, is that we weren't talking anymore. It's like he was always in his room. We didn't have conversations. I didn't know what was going on with him. So it's like he was struggling through all of that. And I just assumed everything was fine because we weren't having conversations. And it sucks because everyone gets distracted by it, right?
Right.
But that's the point.
Yes.
That is the point, is that they want everyone distracted. So our kids are separate from us. And, my kids, I am very thankful for, I do think they do absorb some of the stuff that Jason and I say, which I think we're very, very lucky for, because I think that is something that's very difficult for parents nowadays, is that kids are just like, oh, whatever. But I do think that our kids pick up on the stuff that we say. Like, some of our values, they really do understand. And I don't think that's necessarily happening in all families, because it's very easy for social media or these ideas and these things to take over. And now that's important for them, but that doesn't make sense for us. And so now we're separate. And now it's easy to pull them this way because we have nothing that we're linking on, right? So I do think I am very lucky in that way, and I'm so thankful for it. But I do think there are a lot of things that I still need to bring my boys back, right? Like, it needs to be, we need to be together on these things. There are some things that they do pick up and they get, but there's a lot that, they'll say oh my gosh, Mom, you're so old. And it's like, I'm really not that old, but I do feel old when it comes to some stuff. Like, they'll say something to me, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I really don't. And I'm not super old, but I don't know what you're talking about. But I think some of those core value things, I'm very lucky because I do think the boys get those. And I don't know how we got those things instilled into them, but I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the same for all families. And it's hard because when you don't have those common ground things, it's easy to pull apart.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
And social media does a great job at doing
It
that.
It does, because the kids think this because this is what's been fed to them.
Well, and it is. I mean, it is what's on their feed. It is what comes up. It is what's easy at their fingertips.
Yes.
And it's just and I think we're grateful in the sense that we haven't ever had to go through this with our kids, really, about cyberbullying and stuff like that. But kids are more brave on social media.
Oh, everyone's so much more brave. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's because
they're more likely to blurb something and be rude than if you were to say it to their face.
Right. If you say it to my face, I might punch you. But if you say it behind a keyboard, I really have no control.
And
right?
so I think you think about all of that, and everyone gets a voice on the internet, no matter if it's good or bad.
Right. Which, fortunately and unfortunately, that is a part of, the Constitution is free speech.
Mm-hmm.
And people get to say what they want, whether they're right or they're wrong, whether they're nasty or they're not. And they get to do those things. And unfortunately, we support that. Right. You know, I mean, it sucks because it's like, oh, you're horrible.
Yeah.
But we believe in our Constitution, you know, and so we understand it's important to know that they get to say these things whether we agree with it or not. And we get to say things whether they agree with it or not. But it is hard when so much is being fed to our kids. Mm-hmm. It is. It sucks. And how do we reach them? You know? I don't know. I know.
Okay, all right, I'm cutting it.
Thanks so much for listening, watching. Sorry that I just hit this. You guys have a great day.
Thanks for swapping with us.
Thanks.